Emotional scenes of business owners shutting their doors or restaurant workers desperately searching for employment. Well, these faces are often described as the economic victims of the pandemic. But little has been told about the struggle of domestic workers. Some domestic workers say that the paralyzing fear of the coronavirus spreading into the homes of their employees has left them without their wages or jobs. Others claim that they've been forced to get vaccinated against COVID-19. For more on this, we're joined by Pinky Mashiane of the United Domestic Workers of South Africa. Pinky, thank you for joining us. It's a hot topic at the moment. You cannot be forced, or you cannot force someone to be vaccinated, but can you force someone to make a choice as to whether they want to keep their jobs or take the vaccine?
Good morning, and good morning to ENCA viewers. Yes, that's what is happening with the domestic workers, unfortunately.
Pinky, just elaborate
There
a
are
little bit.
employers who are forcing them to take the vaccine. As I say, it's a violation of the constitutional rights of domestic workers for employers to force them to take the vaccine. We have a case where the domestic worker was forced by employers to take the vaccine. After she has taken the vaccine, the employers are saying they are scared to take the vaccine. So it's really a difficult time for domestic workers. We have a few domestic workers who are home as we speak because employers have sent them home and said they must come back once they get vaccinated. We also have other domestic workers whose employers tested positive for coronavirus, but the domestic workers are refused to leave the premises, even though the domestic workers tested negative. The employers are testing positive and domestic workers negative, but domestic worker families, apparently they think they will infect them while they are already infected by the virus. So it's a very difficult situation because domestic worker sector is a very vulnerable sector, and employers are some employers are exploiting domestic worker using the pandemic.
Pinky, what kind of stories are you hearing from domestic workers who are genuinely fearful of getting the vaccine, and why don't they want to be vaccinated?
There are many rumors, others are incorrect, that domestic workers are hearing about the vaccine. But employers are not allowed to take decisions for domestic workers. I have domestic workers who are forced by employers to take the vaccine. But according to them, after the employers explained to them the necessity to take the vaccine, then they decided to take the vaccine. So in some other cases, employers are also scared to take the vaccine. Like I said, that a domestic worker was made to take a vaccine, and employers are saying that they are scared of the vaccine. Those are the stories that you are hearing every day of domestic workers who are treated badly by employers because of the pandemic. There's also a domestic worker who's not supposed to go to the clinic to fetch his medication because employers are saying, there at your clinic, you will bring us the coronavirus. You must buy the medication at the pharmacy. The medication is more than 400 rand, and the domestic worker cannot afford to pay that because he's only earning 2,800 rand. I had to call the employers and explain to them that if they don't want the domestic worker to go to the clinic, then they must pay for that medication because they are underpaying that domestic worker because he's also doing housework as a domestic worker and also gardening as a gardener.
Pinky, according to the Human Rights Commission, workers can't be forced to get vaccinated. What can they do if they are faced with the choice of get vaccinated or lose your job? What can you actually do for them?
We are going to take the cases. I was communicating with a lawyer from Human Rights Commission last week. We are going to take the cases and seek legal assistance for those employers who are forcing and dismissing their domestic workers because of the vaccine. We are also going to engage with the CCMA that how can they handle these cases because of the pandemic. So we are working on it.
Yeah, I think it's uncharted territory for many people, and a lot of misinformation out there, both from the employer and the employee. It's going to be a difficult one, especially with domestic workers not having much of a voice, really, in terms of being able to assert their rights. Thank you so much for your time today. That's Pinky Mashiane of the United Domestic Workers Union of South Africa.